I'm Mary Pepino, and welcome to Fit for You, the show that teaches you how to live a healthier and more fit lifestyle. Today's show is all about golf, so you're probably wondering why I'm dressed the way that I am. It's not about playing golf or getting ready to tee off. It's about the conditioning you need to be doing behind the scenes to prepare for golf. So many people think they get out on the driving range, they get out on the putting green, and that's where the practice begins, and that's where they can really fine-tune their game. That's wonderful, but you need to be doing some exercises behind the scenes in order to be in your best condition to have your best performance on the tee and on the green. This is a very special show for me, as any show is when we talk about golf, because the person nearest and dearest to my heart, my dad, taught me the game when I was a very little girl. So I'm very happy to dedicate this show to my daddy, who passed away about a year and a half ago. I hope you enjoy. Thank you. I'm very happy to introduce my dear friend, my Pilates instructor, and the one and only Kathi Halbert of Kathi's Dance and Gym. My God, we go back so many years.
So many years.
And you're absolutely fantastic, STOT certified in Pilates. And it was very interesting to me, the people I have spoken to about conditioning for golf that don't understand how important Pilates has become to the game. There are many professionals out there, not just in golf, but in many sports that use Pilates to condition themselves. Probably golf, I would say, is one of the most prominent. So I gave Kath a call and I said, can you brush up on your Pilates for golf conditioning? And today's show is what we created.
Yeah, and it was something I really wanted to do. I have a couple, male clients who are golfers, and I've often thought, and STOT Pilates, of which I'm certified, absolutely has really dealt into the subject. They have 4 or 5 videos out now. They've gotten some golf experts to help them in the field. And so they've really, I'm not recreating a wheel by any means. They've done it, and they've done a good job and looking deeply into the muscles that have to be used, and they've really targeted into the game. So
we're going to be joined by Mike Ferranti, the pro at the Lake Club, in a little bit. But I think what Mike is going to explain and why Pilates is one of the types of exercises that's really, really important, even really better than, lifting heavy weights and so on, or lifting weights, is because it gives you that toning, that length, and that strengthening of the muscle without getting a lot of bulk. And you can really focus on your core, which is where the power of the golf swing comes from. There were several tapes that they've put together
they were.
For this,
they've
right?
done conditioning, warm-ups. They've really have looked at doing leveling with it, things to do at home use. But I think the thing that was so easy for them to adapt to Pilates is, you're right, it just all comes from the core. They've really worked on that stance that's involved. They worked about the whole back and lat and how strong that has to be. And just, we, like growing up as a dancer, I was always told when you move your arms, you move it from your back. Well, that obviously the golf swing is so much torso, and it was really, they've done a lot with it. And the bottom line is being strong internally and being able to really hang on. They've really focused us in the areas that are really important. And also, I think conditioning for the game, and I realized this when I kind of did some research on this with you, and I'm really not a golfer, so I've actually I made my husband even take me to the driving range. I said, okay, I want to feel this and when it's going. And going to the driving range, I think for me, I was like, the people that golf every day, they have to be one-sided muscularly. Like, if you have that one swing, you are only torquing
because you go this way,
over
pull down,
and over and over again. So one of the things they've really have stressed is that in your conditioning, please do the opposite side. As strange as it is, they'll make you swing right and left, and it really makes sense. I just, from 2 days at the driving range, thought, oh my goodness, there is a whole set of muscles that it's going to get so overstretched, and then, so that was really interesting for me. And the importance of warm-up too was so big with them.
Well, there was so much there was so much we could choose from. So Kath and I narrowed it down, and we wanted to spend a little less time talking on today's show and a lot more time demonstrating.
Absolutely.
So we decided to do the 10-minute conditioning, which we're going to demo. Kathy's going to instruct. I'm going to be the demo person.
And I actually made Ken do it this morning. So my husband,
Ken, her husband.
he was about ready to kill me. I go, come on, let's go. Let's try this.
Aw, fantastic. And then we're going to get into some of the level 1 conditioning exercises. So
Absolutely.
the warm-up is something you can practice and do every time before you play, and then the conditioning exercises are things that you should be putting into your exercise routine.
Right. So as we get started with the warm-up, and it's exactly that. It's not a lot of repetition. It's just a matter of kind of getting all the joints limber, really focuses. You start with breathing, shoulder girdle, a lot of hip, and getting the torso swing. Basically, that's where we're at. So,
and this is, as you noted, you have a lot of, well, some male clients that do the Pilates and have had a lot of success with it, but it's very important for men and women. This is not about, you know, a particular sex.
No,
this is really for everybody.
Yeah, and not to teach you a golf game, it's how to get ready. And everything that I've talked to and read and have viewed, they just talk about the importance of stretching before you go out there and start swinging.
Well,
you know?
and you know what I liked? The first thing was breathing. So let's start with the breathing
well, I'm going to give you
bit.
a club. And one of the first things with this club, I just want you to stand and about foot length apart, shoulder length apart, your feet shoulder length apart, and your hands drop down. I want you to take a big inhale and drop with your head.
Now inhale through the nose, correct?
You in through the nose, out through the mouth will be your breathing. And you really want to try to fill up in Pilates the lungs so that you really get everything circulated and get the blood going. So, but breathing through everything, holding your breath so much when we're doing something heavy, we think if you could breathe through your movements, you become so much more powerful and so much stronger.
And when I started Pilates with you many years ago, the toughest thing for me in breathing was I was used to more of like a yoga breathing. I wanted to inhale and my diaphragm would come out, and then when I exhale, my diaphragm comes in. You want that diaphragm kept tight, correct?
And I think for golf, what I'm seeing is it's so related to the Pilates because what they're doing is trying to keep the core strong. So if you're trying to hang on to your core, you can't come breathing through your stomach. You really need to hang on to that. I mean, there can be some movement, but you really want to utilize lungs and fill up the lungs. So the two are so related, and it feels like it works.
And my second biggest no, I'm like, you know, I'm always up here, and you're like, drop those shoulders.
That's because you work at a desk every day of your life, and you're at a computer, which you were the last half hour I just saw you.
Yes.
So that's exactly why, and that whole tension and to get that relaxed.
So we want shoulders down.
So you start your shoulders down, and you're going to start with your head. Take a deep breath in. Exhale and let the head roll. And not only is this good to be breathing, you're going to roll all the way down there and just let your body relax. Now with us, you know, our flexibility is decent. My husband, like, this was a killer right off the start this morning. Now from here, I want you to totally relax, feel the belly button lift up, and take another exhale. And you want to stack this and try to also talk about good alignment and come up through.
And I think I'm going to stand to the side. Explain to the viewers, Kath, and my microphone pack might be here, but explain to them, because when I'm going down, it's really important, I think, that they understand that spinal stacking.
Okay, so start up tall first and put that head rest, drop the chin. Try to put your belly button even against this shaft even more. There you go. So now we got a little imprint going, or you don't want to imprint, but you got a little better neutral. And get your weight slightly forward over the ball of your feet. Now start to leave this pole. Drop your head slowly and go. And you'll be, what we're talking and what she's talking about is the stacking, one vertebrae at a time, coming down through. Release the head more.
And explain that the breathing is supposed to...
And so now she's breathing out through the lungs. So if she could hang here a moment and just hang, and let me see you take another inhale through that lung capacity, exhale. And I'd love to see these lungs expand and contract. And then as she comes up, she leaves her head down. She's going to pull up from her belly button and try to get back onto this shaft, one vertebrae at a time. As she's continuing to exhale, she's now going to slide down her scaps, open up through her neck, relax her shoulders, one of our favorite things, and get that head. So just, you know, we could work on this and you would do this quickly, but we're going to give you samples of everything that's really kind of set.
Yep, and that takes practice in itself. And the breathing is supposed to help you connect so you can really focus and concentrate that one vertebrae at a time.
It does that. It gives power, and it also gets blood circulating. Your body needs that. That's what gets the oxygen going and gets the power going. So.
Okay, we like to always use the club as our prop whenever we can because there's something psychological to it. Plus, it helps you with your form and doing the exercise properly. So, Kath, go ahead.
Yeah, definitely having something in your hand.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, having something in your hand really helps you engage your lats and shoulders. There's something about that being able to press down and open. So in the stance we're doing, a roll down for Pilates. You want to try to keep your feet on the floor. We're going to first start in flexion. There's two things. There's the flexion and the hinge. We're going to start in flexion because it develops the most powerful core strength.
So inflection means that we are sticking our belly button to our back, so to speak.
Exactly.
Correct? Go ahead, Kath.
And no, that's it. And you're going to, so I want you to actually feel like someone's taken your belly button, pushed it back.
And this is a lot harder than it looks.
And just go about as far as you can.
Because you've got to have complete control, and you're going one vertebrae at a time.
You'll take an inhale, exhale, again feeling the belly button push. Now right on this very beginning, we're going to keep the C curve or that rounded feeling the whole time. So we're really trying to engage one vertebrae at a time coming up. So it's really internal. So when I start here, I really want to feel the pelvic tilt and pushing through. Now,
Mike,
in this position.
Like we discussed before, that first turn on the way down is really kind of a starting point here from the center of your core right here. That first motion. So if you could really work that, get a feeling for what that is.
The difference with this a little bit is this one is in the C curve, which we would rather use the hinge that we're going to use later. This one's just more powerful for people. If you're not really strong in the core in the beginning, this helps you engage better and it gives you the piece to work. Now, if I'm asking for hinge, I sit up tall, I still engage my belly button to the back, and this is the perfect scenario for the golf stance. But I'm not going to roll my pelvic now. I'm going to come straight back as far as you can go without shaking. Try to get the arms up, and you're going to really feel this. And come up as a unit. So now we're talking about not so much rolling. So that first flexion roll, which is so popular in Pilates, but is more related just for the core strength.
I'm going to turn to the sides. So, Mike, you want to show them on me?
Yeah, that
because
posture,
I think
it's
the
really
difference
important.
is going from this.
Yeah, that rolling motion, keeping that back straight.
To now this.
This would be your golf stance.
Yes, that's perfect. Right now.
Yeah. Excellent. Shoulder blades a little bit connected. There you go, pressing down in the lats. Now try to engage, putting your arms over your head. This is going to be a challenge. Good.
Very good.
And back for it. And
Wait, I can lift my legs too, I think.
You're not supposed to.
But I can.
And you have to breathe. Yeah.
And remember to breathe.
And breathe.
Yeah,
and don't forget to breathe.
Keeping that back straight is very, very important. I mean,
So
if you train
this is a
yourself
great one.
into doing that, you'll see yourself. You don't have to think about it during the golf swing. There's a lot of
you
times
really
we have to remind
And that
the
posture's
players.
hard for people.
It's
Now, Mary,
very hard. It's
while
hard.
you're there, do this.
This is all, I want people to understand, this is all this. There's nothing else holding me here. It's all this.
Core. Absolutely. So now sit up tall once. Take your hand by the club. No, other way.
You have upper.
There you go, and down. And then
I
work
have an upper grip and a lower grip on the end,
and
right?
now keeping this stable, obviously it's on the floor, do that torso, keeping that left arm straight, and come right up and through.
All the way?
Just to center, because you would reverse the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, pulling, just as you bring that elbow in and stretch.
I'll tell you what,
And
you really feel this in the oblique.
This is a
And
really
that's-
kind of a good one.
That's the most important part.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
if you could feel that, then you'll have
know
something to
that-
relate to in the golf swing because that's where you
Shoulder
want to
down.
turn from.
Salvatore wants to be part of the
Hey,
team,
I like
of
it.
course.
I like it.
Yeah.
Hustle.
And then the idea being, even though you don't like it, you should reverse this.
I was
so
just gonna
that
say,
you want to
because-
make sure in the exercising that you're stretching that opposite side, and you can work as that whole straight arm and everything that you do in the golf game and how you handle all of that.
Because that motion, I mean, it looks very familiar for that reason. That's that kind of turn motion. Not a lot of really pull with the hands and arms. You're just turning that oblique section to really start to turn your core.
Right,
That's
to
very
get
important.
And they have one, if you take a standing up position, Mare, and they take one where you're holding that club this way too, and you're in that stance, and you're just not trying to assimilate a golf swing necessarily, but that Same thing.
But it's
learning how, and it is kind of, you're really working how to stretch off the top.
right. And in a motion like that, just seeing those shoulders rock back and forth.
Me.
Then that
seriously,
was really, really close. That's like I said, very, very good.
Why
but in
can't I
that
hit the
position
ball?
again, go ahead. No. That's nothing. The club will do that.
Oh,
but
okay.
that motion that you did
Right
was
here.
fantastic.
And
These
keeping my
shoulders
head.
staying on this level was very, very important. Because if these start to tilt up and you lose your spine angle, that's where it kind of causes some problems in the golf swing.
cool.
So when you're doing this exercise too, if you're keeping that spine there and the shoulders are just rotating instead of
And they're
picking
pushing
up, yeah, that's
And they
fantastic.
have one where then you go.
Yep.
But
And see,
another one in
that
there.
see any type of, and when we were talking with the bands, back here too, any type
That
of resistance
resistance would
that you
really
get
help
from
that.
that motion, then you'll start to feel what's pulling that club down, and it's here, and it's not your arms, it's here, and when
It's
you can,
all-
and
Because I have bad shoulders, and first thing Ken said to me, really, I don't think your shoulders will be affected if you're right. Because if you have the strong core, your shoulders shouldn't have anything to do with it. And everyone said that to me. I don't know if you can golf with your shoulders, but I didn't find any at the driving range yesterday, knowing not what I was doing, concentrating on what I read. Shoulders weren't involved at all.
Yeah.
So I was pretty amazed by that, actually.
Yeah.
I was, because I thought for sure I've had surgeries on both.
Yeah,
And so
there's
I was expecting
the
the worst.
core is the main part, drives a lot of the power, and
this
the
all
club
kinda goes as a
when
unit.
when the club is on its plane, when it's on where you want it, it's actually very, very balanced. I mean, there's a lot of weight out there, in the club, and especially out on the end of the stick, it gets real heavy
Those
if it's
long
not in the right
sticks.
if it's
like
not in the
that
right
ping
spot.
thing.
It gets real heavy, and you got to lose a lot of different muscles to try to get it back online. But when that club is in the right spot, it's really balanced, and you can swing it with very little tension in the hands and the arms. I mean, if you watch the guys on TV, they don't have that death grip on the club. I mean, you can really make a nice, easy swing with it and create a lot of power from here rather than here.
That's the
which
first
is-
thing I got this list of things. It was a light grip.
Yep,
Light
yep.
grip was my first
Yep.
thing.
That's really hard for me because I'm used to that. I learned to hold the club when I was like seriously 2, and it's like that tight.
Great, just holding on to it. That's
Yes.
And I did find if I was going to hit the ball yesterday at all, being relaxed always was a better swing for me. I really would try and just like let it go and all from here. And I'd go, oh my goodness, that went up in the air and everything. It
It's
was
a very
really
good
cool.
last-minute thought in golfers. I mean, if you talk to any golfer, there's a million swing thoughts in that half a second in your swinging golf. But if there's that last one before you take it back, it's just a little breath and relax. That'll get you on your way a lot better.
I could only think of one at a time, and that one seemed to do the best for me. I could only think head down, then I'd try shoulders,
right.
and then I'd try relax. Relax seemed
Yeah.
to do the best of all of them for me.